Good afternoon, YouTubers. I think it's afternoon. Let me take a look at the clock. Yeah, it's about 12:30. You guys know I don't ever get started. Had to come back, get my wood covered up. We're kind of dilly-dallying today. You can't, I don't know whether you can see that kind of, the leaves are blowing real hard. Storm coming in from Ohio. Thank you, Joe, for sending that to me. Anyhow, what I'm trying to do is just little stuff, because the rain's coming in. So can you see the sawdust down in there? It's 4 foot deep. I'm gonna start digging that out, so I guess I'll bring you along. You guys get the good stuff. Sometimes you don't get the so good stuff. So we're gonna go down there. I got to start the engine up here, then go down there. So we're gonna walk around. So hold on to your ears, put on your ears. I won't be able to talk. You're just gonna kind of sit there and watch an old geezer shovel sawdust, but it's what's got to be done. We'll step it up a little bit in speed. That ain't too bad. We got a lot cleaned up back here. But I got to get all this cleaned up back here. It just looks terrible. I got that log up out of there. As you can see over there, we got that whole big mess cleaned up. But I need to get to this conveyor to get it cleaned out. Oh, forgot the shovel. I'm already full here. If it gets to a certain point, it'll start taking it back down in. It's getting there. We gotta get this other side. You're gonna get my back on this most of the time. pull up here again, guys. There's the tunnel we're going for. Yeah, the blade is up there spinning. Can you see it right there? It does not come below, so I won't hit it. But I'm not climbing in there. Now I gotta just get in there and be a groundhog. So I gotta go turn the blade off, get in there with a groundhog, get in there. But I got an awful lot of that out. But you can see, I hope you can hear me, you can see how this is leaning down on this side and it's not up at the angle. So it's just not, it's also come this way about 6 inches. So I gotta fix that. The 6 inches forward, it's because the angle of this is just kind of pulled it out. So that's about it for this one. I'm gonna go up and turn it off. Believe it or not, I'm gonna take a break. I'm soaking wet. I'm gonna go play in another spot. I hope you can hear me. I was over here moving a couple things over here just a minute ago. 2 little Bambies came out within 10 feet of me just watching me work. You think they could have pitched in and helped all the food that I feed them, wouldn't you think? That's a shooting range. I know you guys have seen this before, but it's been a while. It's kind of overgrown, haven't used it in a while. That's why I'm trying to get rid of some of that stuff so I can get a clear shot. If you see the container down there, there's a table next to it, which is 100 yards from there to here. Woo! We're gonna go and shut her down. At least it's nice and breezy. Well, you can kind of see. Let me turn this off so you can hear me. Whoops. Didn't hold it off for long enough. There's a lever here that you push. We're getting there. But see, I got to get behind this thing here, and that's just pure go in there and groundhog work. And get that out and then start shoveling again. I used to shovel this thing out every year. I haven't shoveled it this far in a while. Before I had the conveyor, I used to just come in here with a tractor and bucket it out. But as you can see, one log, you could be full down there in an instant. That's why one of the reasons I want to get the sawdust blower going on the #1 mill before I even think about sawing, because you can get into this mill. You can't get into the underneath of that mill because it's got the, I don't know, 45 inch, 50 inch, I don't know how long ways on it. And then I got another 6 or 7 foot deck off the back of it. And it's also lower than this, so you'd never get in there. You got to get a way to get that sawdust out. And I do believe on most sawmills, getting rid of the sawdust might be one of the biggest constant little issues. There's several different ways you could drive it. If you the normal way is drive a belt from here down to there and run a chain, but I don't have any place for a belt. I could run it off that that part right there to another counter shaft. So you go down to a chain, and then from that chain you go into a 90 gearbox, and then you run the chain out. That's how a lot of them do it. Some of them use car rear ends, but the problem there once again is the chain going from here, or the belt going down there. As soon as it gets a big chunk from cutting thin slabs, it goes down there and kicks the chain off. That also happens on the other side where the chain is. Blower's good, but it probably gets sawdust clogged in it, or big pieces clogged in the suction side of it from time to time. I don't think there's any cure way. The best way that I ever saw is a sawmill. As we sit here, it's a mile up the road. It's a #1, and it's big. A guy passed away years ago, and his sawmill was built on the side of a steep hill, and from his saw blade down to his saw pit was probably over a 20-foot drop. So he never had a problem with that. I don't know if he had a problem, and I think he just dug it out with a loader from time to time. I don't know what he did to get that sawdust out. I had to go up there and look at it. I thought he had a chain and drag down there. But I think if you were to drive that maybe hydraulically, I would like to drive it hydraulically, maybe put a, so I don't have to drive it, so I can go in there and dig it out when you're not running the blade. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for. But it ain't never going to happen. I'm not worried. I've been thinking about different ways on that #1 mill. Look at the sun starting to come out. Thinking different ways of getting the sawdust out from that #1 mill. We started working on the blower. Chain drag didn't work. So that's kind of a big don't know what to do issue, other than it's got to get out of there. And it's like if you don't have the blower suction fairly close to where the sawdust is coming down. I mean, look at it when you guys vacuum up dust in your shop. If you're more than 2 inches away from the dust, it's probably not picking up. It's different sucking than blowing. That doesn't sound good, but anyhow, you can take an air gun and you can blow stuff 10 feet away. But if you go take your vacuum cleaner nozzle and you take the nozzle off and just put the hose down there, you got to be within 2 inches of anything to get it up. So even if you had a 6-inch suction line, you got to plan on the angle of repose of the sawdust and all sorts of nonsense. It's not quite just cut and dry, I don't believe. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I probably should just go on through and put something in, and if it doesn't work, make another move, make another plan. The loaders down there, I was watching, man, I'm terrible for getting names. I know I should. Oh, and by the way, I want to give a special thanks to 4444 PVC. He sent me another super thanks, and I keep forgetting. And when I start remembering things, I remember more than one thing at a time sometimes. I guess the brain kicks into slow speed so it catches up. This thing over here, I was watching, I think it's Steel Farm. Real good guy. He's got an old sawmill and he switched it to hydraulics, and that didn't work out. He's going back to belts. I like the belts. You can feel it better and all that kind of stuff. But if I was to go to hydraulics, this might be the way to go, because you got a big gearbox here. And what's neat about it is on the return, okay, you'd use it. It all comes off of one hydraulic block up there. So down here you got forward and you got reverse. So there you go, forward and reverse on your carriage, okay, and it is a motor control, so you're good there. But then when you're returning, you could put this up into second gear instead of first gear. So you'd have to flip this lever, then push your return lever, and you might want them backwards, as a matter of fact, because most of the time return, and so maybe return would always be the same speed, but forward would return. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I can't say it, but reverse would be a constant speed. But there you have motor control in there. And I got $350 in this thing, which that was kind of a sore point, but that's the way it is. But look at all the hydraulics on there. 16 horsepower motor. I imagine you could sell that for $100 for a wood splitter. And there's reels. Here's another one over here. So on a if I had a shop, I could work on that stuff at night, but I don't. So that's the way it is. Oh man, that breeze feels good. Anyhow, we're gonna call it quits for this one. I got to get in there and pull more sawdust out. The pile got up to the top again. Glad you stopped by. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you later. I'm going to go get a thirst quencher. Bye-bye.